The Federal Reserve just took a decision to hold the interest rates at 3.5 to 3.75%. But this time it is different. Last time the exact same decision was made by the Fed, but last time it was a unanimous decision by every single member of the Fed. This time it's completely different. If this is going to continue, by September the Fed is going to hike the interest rates, and that is going to crush gold prices, silver prices, Bitcoin prices, and the stock market overall. So here in this video, I will explain what exactly is happening and how you have to prepare yourself. So give this video a thumbs up and let's get right into it. The message that the Fed sent recently is extremely dangerous because everybody is just looking at what exactly the Federal Reserve is doing. And this time it was no different compared to the last time. But the difference this time is that the vote was 9-3. 9 members of the board decided that we have to hold the interest rates, while 3 of them decided that it is time to hike the interest rates. And this almost never happens. Yes, sometimes some of the members of the board decide that no, we have to do something completely different, but usually that is 1 member. Best case scenario, 2 members. Last time, 3 members simultaneously decided that no, we have to take an opposite decision, was back in 2016. And that's why the Federal Reserve actually called it a fight inside the Fed. On one side, you have more members deciding that inflation is persistent and we have to do something about it. On the other side, Kevin Warsh was appointed by Donald Trump to bring the rates down. And now, if he is going to follow the rest of the world and hike the interest rates, I don't think Donald Trump is going to forgive him. But here's what makes the entire situation even worse. Inflation is actually falling. So if inflation has fallen from like 4.2% to 3.5% last month, why we're voting to hike the interest rates? The Federal Reserve is actually in a huge problem. The Federal Reserve did not once hit its target of 2% inflation rate in the last 5 years. And the Fed sees that as a huge problem. Our main job is to ensure that America has an inflation rate of 2%. And now it has been since 2022, or I would say since 2021, that inflation never actually crossed 2% for once. The lowest that it got was in January of this year, or I think it was February, at 2.3%. But since then, the entire situation got entirely out of control. And the problem with this inflation is that this crisis seems with no end. Nobody actually knows for a fact when this inflation is going to end, because nobody knows for a fact how the war in Iran is going to continue. That war that is happening on the other side of the planet is the real reason why inflation is not coming down. The driving force behind this inflation are oil prices. And oil prices aren't just another line on the inflation data. When you see that oil prices have risen, it is going to push everything else, and the price of everything else also rises. And in July of this year, oil prices have actually crossed again $100. And this is the 5th month of the war. When it started, after 1 month of bombardment, they started negotiating when oil prices begin to come down. And the market is like, well, there was like a 1 month war, and now we have signed a memorandum of understanding, and everybody cooled down. A couple of weeks later, they've canceled the memorandum of understanding and they started fighting again. And now they're talking again. And it seems like we're simply going in circles, but that doesn't matter, because as long as the Strait of Hormuz is closed and there is a shortage of oil in the global markets, that is still going to cause inflation. And if you are a business and you understand that there is so much uncertainty about the future, you have to factor all of that, which is why you will hike your prices. What makes the situation even worse, that the Federal Reserve has already lost the control over the inflation in the market and even the interest rates. You see, the Federal Reserve's interest rates are 3.5 to 3.75%. And ideally, this should be the floor for the entire market. But if you look at the bond market, the yields are significantly higher than that. Short-term treasuries right now are paying about 4%. 10-year yields are paying 4.6%, while 30-year government bonds are paying 5.2%. And they're paying so much higher compared to the Fed is because there isn't enough demand. So right now, it doesn't even matter what the Federal Reserve is doing, because the bond market decided that the yields are going to be significantly higher than what the Federal Reserve has set. When you look at this, then you realize why the 3 board members decided that it is time to hike the interest rates. And we have got to the point where individual investors are dumping stocks at the fastest pace since the COVID crash, because individual investors also realizing that before the market is going to crash, before the Fed is going to raise the interest rates further to 4%, 4.5%, or how about 5%, we have to jump all of these stocks in order not to repeat the same mistake that these people have made back in 2022. And the market is giving it an 82% chance that the Fed will hike the interest rates in September of this year. Now, here's what you have to pay attention to. The first question we want to ask is that what that is going to do to gold prices. Gold prices have already crashed by about 30% from their peak. The question is that what that will do to the gold prices further. Now, I was expecting that gold prices will continue rising because the Fed is not going to lower the interest rates. Why? Because the nominee or the current chair of the Fed, Kevin Warsh, was directly appointed by Donald Trump. And Donald Trump spent the entire last year criticizing the Fed for not lowering interest rates. And now a lot of people were expecting that Kevin Warsh will lower down interest rates. But at the same time, nobody expected that there is going to be such a huge war in the Middle East that is going to drive oil prices so high. But why will higher interest rates drive gold prices further down? You see, if you look at gold is a very useless asset. It doesn't pay anything. It just has this historical track record that it preserves wealth. So if you're sitting on $1,000 of gold in your house, it is not actually getting you any income. Well, if you're sitting on $1,000 worth of US treasuries, you are getting some kind of an income. So the question comes back at the end of the day is that how much these treasuries are paying you. If you're sitting on gold, you're getting nothing. But if you're owning 6-month treasuries, you're receiving 4%. But if you're sitting on $1,000 worth of 30-year treasuries, then you're getting 5.2%. If the Fed ends up hiking the interest rates, then it's going to hike the floor on all of them, which means that the yields on the bonds will also rise, which means that you will earn a lot more. So if you're a huge investor, you're left with two options. Either you are going to take that money and buy a lot of gold, or you will take that money and buy a lot of US treasuries that can pay you up to 4.5%, maybe even 5% by the end of the year. Suddenly, the demand for gold is going to plummet while the demand for the US treasuries are going to rise. And if that's going to happen, then you can expect gold prices to crash even farther. It is also going to impact Bitcoin prices. Bitcoin from its peak back in 2025 has already plummeted by about 50% to $65,000. But if the Fed ends up hiking the interest rates, the same thing will repeat here, that it can go farther to $50,000, maybe $55,000. Maybe the lowest point might even be $40,000. Bitcoin is treated in the market as a very risk tech type of an investment. So you have to ask yourself a question: what is going to be the true value of your investment in the future? When you're buying Bitcoin, you're not buying to profit out of it the next day. Most people, especially the real believers in Bitcoin, they believe in the long future vision of Bitcoin. Suppose Bitcoin is going to earn you $100,000 in 15 years from now. Now, here's the question. What will be the real value of that $100,000 if interest rates are 1%? It's going to be around $86,000. In the second scenario, what will be the real value of the $100,000 in 15 years from now if interest rates are 5%? Suddenly, it plummets to $48,000. So nothing fundamentally changed. It is the exact same money, the exact same investment, and the exact same asset. The fact that interest rates change in the market suddenly changes the real value of how much that asset is going to earn. So if the Fed ends up hiking the interest rates in September and then in October, and if they end up rising by 0.5% or 1% by the end of the year, then you can be confident that Bitcoin price will certainly plummet. The stock market has also reacted. Since 15th of July, even though that this was before the Fed kept the interest rates the way they are, it was already clear in the market that the Fed is going to hold the interest rates, which is why the S&P 500 has already plummeted by 3.4%. Now, tech stocks have the exact same analogy as Bitcoin, because a lot of these tech stocks, take an example of SpaceX. SpaceX isn't earning a lot of money today. They're borrowing so much money, they're raising so much money in hopes that sometime in the future, we are going to build the data centers in space, and these data centers will earn us God knows how much money, maybe trillions of dollars. Now, that's just a hypothetical example. The fact that they will do that or not is a completely different question. What matters here is the idea that that money will be earned in the future. And even if that money, let's say, is $1 trillion, if interest rates change today, the true value of that $1 trillion will change. Whether they will make that money or not is a discussion for another video. But at the same time, there is a lot of CapEx spending. We are in the middle of this AI revolution, but to make this AI revolution possible, every company is borrowing money and spending on AI. Whether this is building the AI models, whether this is building the computer chips or the data centers. All of that requires a lot of money. They're spending literally trillions of dollars if you look at all of these companies combined. And a lot of that money isn't actually the money that the companies are spending out of their pockets. In some cases, that's the case, like in the case of Google. But in other cases, like in the case of Oracle, they're borrowing that money. When you're borrowing money, when you're borrowing $50 billion to build a data centers, now the cost of borrowing rises. Now you are making a lot less money. You will make a lot less money on that particular investment because the cost of borrowing that money has risen dramatically. Secondly, these companies have borrowed so much money back in 2020 and 2021, and a lot of that debt was borrowed at a very ultra low interest rates, and it's maturing right now. If you haven't paid off that debt, you have to refinance it, and you're going to refinance it at a much higher interest rate than it was back in 2020 and 2021, which means that your cost is significantly rising, which means that your free cash flow goes down, which means that your valuation eventually goes down. And that's the problem that these companies are facing. This is the main reason why Oracle stock price have dropped by 52%. By the way, before the stock has actually dropped, I sold all of my investments and made about 50%, and I posted that on the Investing Academy. So if you want to know which stocks I'm buying and which stocks I'm selling, you can join the Investing Academy literally right now completely for free. Oracle will overall spend $55.7 billion this year, and they plan to raise another $1 billion. So when you look at these numbers and you look at the Fed is hiking the interest rates, you know that this stock can actually crash even farther. When you deposit your money in a bank, the bank usually takes a lot of that money and buys US treasuries that pays you an interest, because by law they're obligated to hold a certain amount of US treasuries. These investments can be turned into cash very easily should people get to the bank and ask for their money back. But there is simply one problem with them. The yields and the price on the US treasuries have an inverted relationship. And that means that if the yields on the US treasuries will rise, the price will fall. Imagine there is $1,000 US treasuries that pays 5%. The next day interest rates rise and the new US treasuries pay 6%. Now you're left with an option. Either you are going to buy for $1,000 a US treasuries that pays you 6% or 5%. I guarantee you that you will choose the one that pays you more, which is why the old treasury that pays 5%, it is going to reduce its price so that its yield is also going to be 6%. And now, if you're a bank and you're sitting on $1 billion worth of US treasuries, when the Federal Reserve is going to hike the interest rates, the value of your assets are going to fall. But you still have the exact same liabilities. Suddenly, on paper, you can actually meet your liabilities. And that's why the US banks right now are sitting on $325 billion worth on unrealized losses. Of course, these losses are still on paper, but when people realize that, look at this bank, theoretically, it can't pay off everybody, which means that I would rather rush to the bank and get my money out of that bank before that bank collapses. But when everybody does that, suddenly the bank will collapse. And that happens all the time with banks. One of the famous examples was back in 2023 with the Silicon Valley Bank. So if the Fed ends up hiking the rates by 1% by the end of the year, we might see a lot of banks collapsing one by one. And finally, the government deficit is going to substantially rise. When the Fed raises the interest rates, it is also going to raise the floor in the market, which means that yields will certainly rally. The government is already running a $2 trillion deficit, and it needs to borrow more money than ever just to ensure that it's not going to default. If it starts refinancing that debt at a much higher interest rate. And that is very important because when the Fed raises the interest rates, the first rates it's going to impact are the short-term treasuries. And a substantial amount of the US debt right now are short-term treasuries, which means that by the end of this year, if the Fed will hike the interest rates in September, interest payments will be probably like $1.2 trillion, maybe even more. The real question right now is that what happens next? The first thing you have to pay attention is the inflation report that will come up on the 12th of September. If inflation rises to 4% or more, then you can be confident that in the next meeting, the Fed will certainly hike the interest rates. The second thing to pay attention to are the stocks that I'm holding. If the stock that I'm holding is massively borrowing money to invest in AI, and the company isn't actually making much from these AI investments to pay back these debts, then you know that the situation with this stock is going to get significantly worse and it will keep falling down as long as the Fed keeps hiking the rates. And finally, pay attention to the war because the war is going to decide what is going to happen next with inflation. Even though that hiking the interest rates almost always crushes the market, it doesn't mean that there are not going to be opportunities. If you're smart about it, you know which stocks to buy and which stocks to sell. You know how to find these opportunities. The biggest mistake that most people make in the market is that they simply don't know how to value companies. If I'm buying this stock, how do I know what is the true value of that stock? That's why I built a step-by-step program to help you to start investing, where to find great investments, and what are the best stocks to buy right now. It's called Investing Academy, and you can join it completely for free using the link in the description of this video. But if you want a more personalized investing strategy, if you never want to ask the question whether I should buy this stock or not, if you want a bunch of systems that will easily help you to systemize your investments and instantly find great opportunities in the market, I take a limited number of people each month on one-on-one mentorship. So if you're interested, you can jump on a one-on-one strategy session with my team to find out if you qualify. So go ahead and book that call using the link in the description of this video and we'll find out if we can work together.